Okay, so what are we doing here today? We are talking about the State of the Union. We have here combined probably like over 60 years of collective years in the organization, right? Or more, if you think about it. So we have a mix of staff members, and we have leaders, executives that have been involved with the organization for many years. This is kind of the dream team, all of you here. And we're going to share with you, all of you, because you are our shareholders. You are invested in this organization just as much as we are. And we want to give you a little bit of a preview and just kind of a little bit of where we were as an organization, where we're going, and how you can continue to be a part of that, helping us move that movement forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start off with our current president, Ms. Nora Aguirre. I know you don't like to get put on the spot. We try to throw you a few questions out there, but tell everybody, I mean, why you decided to say, okay, I have a successful business, but I am going to dedicate this year to this organization. Why was this so important to you?
You know, one thing that, was clear for me even at the chapter level was that the mission that NAHREP carries forward is really aligned with my mission every single day back home, where I'm servicing, my first-time home buyers, my Latino home buyers, small businesses. And so it really connected with me from that point. And then when I joined the national board, for sure, it was a matter of, is it the right time? And, for me, am I the right leader for this moment? And I wanted to make sure that I was, because I believe that NAHREP and our members deserve the best always. So, it almost happened, that it just was perfect because of what's going on right now with all the legal battles and really spotlighting our buyer's agents. So I am aligned with the mission, and NAHREP is able to carry it forward in a way that I know I wouldn't be able to do it individually. And so that's so important, because it does make a difference. I know what we do on the back side of things many times, aside from our chapter events and things like that, where, Gary's on a phone call with somebody in DC, where many of our leaders are having important conversations in tables where it matters. So I am very proud.
I mean, and think about just the timing as well, right? You have such a passion for first-time home buyers, and all of a sudden we start talking about protecting those rights.
Absolutely.
And you were so well positioned to be a part of that. And as a matter of fact, if it wasn't for, this gentleman right next to me, you actually really kind of brought us to that conversation, right? The importance of NAHREP getting involved in this conversation around the settlement and broker cooperation and clear cooperation. Why did you think that we could take a leadership role?
That's a complicated question, but I think we're the most influential in the industry. All these changes that happened, the Department of Justice, the Attorney General, and it's very unfortunate, I think. That's my position, that's NAHREP's position, and it is going to obviously affect the industry. It's going to affect the consumers that we serve. There's so much chaos going on, and then there's been so much hype for the last year. And we keep moving forward, and the best are going to figure it out. There's no doubt about that. But NAHREP is going to continue the fight. We hope to reverse this. We hope to get this back where it needs to be, back on track. And so there's no better organization than NAHREP. We're the leading organization in the industry. And
I'm going to say that I agree with you, because I think when you said NAHREP is needed, and this is what I want to tell all of you guys, especially the people who have been here for the very first time. One of the things that I have always loved about NAHREP is the fact that Gary somehow, somewhere, always manages to be in the right vision for the right time for us Latinos. He is such a visionary that he can see not only what we need to be able to get to the next level, but how to communicate it. So when you were saying about how integral and how important we are because we are actually bringing facts about how this settlement can affect nuestras familias. Not just real estate professionals who, the DOJ has it wrong and thinks that, all these things, they don't see all the hard work behind it. But Gary has able to switch that narrative to show how this impacts the very same people that they're supposed to protect. So I love the fact that you're saying, and I just have to say, guys, if you're here for the very first time, listen to the theme of everything that we're putting here. You know, we might not really have 60 years of experience in NAHREP in here, but the wealth building and the entrepreneurship and the businesses, that's what's really powerful in this panel.
Give it up for our moderator, Sarah.
Well, speaking of, I was going to tee it up to you to kind of change the mood a little bit, Armando, because you and I have known each other for a long time. You are one of the most multi-disciplined individuals I know. I think of you as like Vince Vaughn of NAHREP, you know, tall, witty, funny, always, so, and we're always referencing old school together. But you have a long history with the organization, and one that I think still to this day probably hasn't been matched when it comes to the chapter stuff. So tell us how you got involved. You said, okay, I'm going to get involved in NAHREP, and now I'm going to have the largest chapter where you had like 1,200 members or something?
1,472. But,
okay.
but I want to say a couple of things to set the tone of my answer is, number one, I remember Gary calling me and saying, you're not the top producer in your market, but you're a connector. And it takes humility to be a connector, because most people want to be the star. I just wanted to win. You know, I'm a proud immigrant from Nicaragua in the 80s. I didn't have, thank you. And I remember Juan said, if you do it right, you're going to have more opportunities. You give, you're going to get more than you ever received. And NAHREP is best at that. It's not a commercial, because if you look at Nora started off just like a chapter president. Sarah started off like a chapter president. Maria started off in accounting. Juan was a chapter president. And Jason was a corporate outside in who's saying, you know what? He's from the CMO world. And what made NAHREP so powerful is the numbers. If you go to any other national conference, you don't see the amount of people here. You don't see every chapter of Latinidad debajo un techo. It's always lopsided. And I'm just being real. And the last thing is, the thing that I try to overcome a lot for the partners, because we're going to go into Maria next, is explaining that we're human. If you put realtors, you think, they're realtors, we have nothing in common. Go out in the hallways. We have a lot in common. Food, ambition, drive, entrepreneurship, being non-come mierda, you know? So we, so I hope that answered your question, Jason, is that the secret sauce is in the numbers. So look at any other organization. Don't look at the name. Don't look at the mission. Look at the people behind it. These tables here have some of the most successful people who have gone through maybe what your goal is going to be. Don't reinvent the wheel. Connect, be impactful. Don't use the word networking. Connect, and that's what I'll say.
That's good. For those that don't habla español, what he said was actually, it translates into bad people.
Well, I say it in Spanish because no one could tell my mom I was cursing on stage.
Exactly.
That's why I went to Gente Fea, because my aunts was forwarding the Instagram to my aunt, my mom, yo no te crié a ser así.
So I'm going to bring Maria into this conversation. You hit on this a little bit, and I go to a lot of these conferences at times, and there's some out there, some of these conferences, they say they're the biggest events in real estate, and then you show up and it's like 200, 300 people. I don't know if y'all, you know what I'm talking about here, a very prominent organization out there says that too. So, but you show up here, there's a lot of energy. And when we went into this, remember a couple years ago, the high interest rate environment was happening. We sat down, we talked about the possibility that that's going to impact our organization, right? We knew that there was going to be an impact to our corporate partners, to membership. But surprise, things changed, right? We actually beat our expectations. We grew as an organization, both from our top line revenue and in a whole bunch of different areas. Why do you think that is, Maria, that you, a lot of the work that you've been doing with the team as well to bring in partners and new members, why is that the case?
I mean, all you have to do is bring them to NAHREP at Latitude and the deal is closed. It makes it easy, yes. But everybody sees the Latino home buyer is not only resilient, they're determined. And they're determined to become homeowners. And we have a network full of volunteers, members, and chapter leaders who are just as determined and just as passionate to get them into homes. So it's become a non-negotiable for many of these companies to come in and partner with our organization. And they say, I will cut other budgets, I will do what I need to do, but I'll make sure that NAHREP is always within my budget.
Amen. We're not a charity, right? This
Yes.
is a business imperative. And it's not just, oh, come here because, we have Hispanics, you got to help us
Well,
out.
you came from the CMO world outside of real estate. What did you see before you came over?
You go to all these events and you see how they run, right? We defy, even as Latinos, we're on time, here. I mean, I love that. I love being on time, and I mean, right there, right off the bat, that really impressed me. People showing up on time, they're here about business, looking good. So I think, so that was certainly very, very important. The way the organization was run is what really impressed me at the end of the day.
So for our partners that deal with Maria, you know that we're on time and we deliver what we say we're going to do. And there's business opportunities. You can brainstorm, and then you look at the chapter work, imitate national. Take it down to your local market, because those partners, those top producers, they see on how you lead, right? What you put on social is your resume. You don't need to put your opinion on the debate. You can do that later.
Yeah. Well, now I'm going to transfer over to my friend here to my left. Maria mentioned the word passion. I think that completely defines you and what you do and how you live your life with a lot of passion. I remember the first time we met, you were involved with the DC chapter. How many folks from the DMV area here? All right. We met at a Starbucks. This was almost like 8 years ago, and you were passionate about getting involved, but you didn't know how to do that. But you brought everything along the way, and you changed not just your involvement with the organization, but also your business. How did they tell us how your business kind of grew concurrent to your involvement with the organization?
So I'm a super passionate person, but believe it or not, before I met NAHREP, I have before NAHREP and after NAHREP. I'm actually an introvert and very shy, believe it or not. And I fell in love with the mission of NAHREP, and then when I realized what it actually did just for me as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a mom, as a woman, it started showing me what leaders look like, because I didn't have role models of Latino leaders, right? And being able to be in rooms with Juan, right? Like I came to him when I decided to start my business, and I was like, what do I need to focus on? Tell me who I need to go with coaching. What do I need to do to get to the next level? So NAHREP has always been there step by step in showing me how I can evolve and leverage everything that I'm taught here. If you think we're out there selling bundles, it's not that. It's exercising your sales muscles. It's exercising your public speaking. How do you communicate? What's the narrative? What do you put out there? Your branding. It's all of these skill sets that you learn with NAHREP that make you the person that you want to be. And then you're surrounded with these incredible people that just help you get to the next level. I mean, I come to the NAHREP conventions and I come to win it. I'm intentional. In the mornings I wake up and I have business conversations while I work out. Then I sit down and I have Juan tell me like, okay, what can I be doing better? How can I grow? Who do I need to connect myself with to help me get to the next level?
She doesn't eat until she's off stage because the outfits.
Exactly. Hey, we gotta look good. But I love having connecting with Maria and talking about, how do you run an organization? How do you make money? What do you focus on? How do you have that culture? Talking to Nora and understanding what can we do to advocate to the next level. Jason, talking on marketing with you, right? When I first started, I would sit with him and say, okay, help me. How do I create a brand? What do I do to get to the next level? So I will always be a NAHREP fan. I always say that I am where I am today because of what I've learned and everything that I have, been able to receive from NAHREP.
Let me piggyback off that, because we became huge in real estate and business formations and what have you. And Maria's working diligently with Gary and on Avance. So make sure there's a sports track out there. Anything that Latinos in America are involved with, we are scaling because we want to update the narrative. I don't like the word new Latino. We've been here since the 1900s. Para alguien decir que somos nuevos, no saben lo que están hablando. So no more nuevo stuff. It's just the updating. So Maria's working on other initiatives. Sarah and Jason, you work on the Hispanic Wealth Project because you're broadening behind real estate. NAHREP is a university. It's what you put into when you go to school. Learn real estate, make some loot, save it, and then diversify. So we got the NHCA, right, which is the construction platform, sports, real estate, wealth. Now you got to see how much you can learn from each and navigate. The next 4 days, make sure you touch on each one of those circles and you know it. because you don't know where that opportunity will change your life. Go ahead, Jay.
Perfect. So, I mean, all of these, I think when some of these ideas are tossed around, people are like, what does that have to do with a NAHREP, right? What does that have to do with the trade association? But it's expanded our viewpoint, right? You came, when you were president, when was that? Was that 1979? What, I can't remember the year. What year was that?
2012 or 13.
Okay.
Or 14.
And then, so you helped develop this program that really, I think, catapulted us into engaging with top producers in the industry, right? Why don't you tell us about this little idea you had?
It was the top 250, and the thing is, the whole thought behind the top 250 is that at that point, we knew that the best Latino agents in the country were not being recognized. They weren't being recognized in their local associations. Nobody was recognizing for the hard work that they were doing. And so we said, we need to start this process. We started in the Western region. That just started developing out, growing, and it's become an incredible machine. And I remember, going back to Tanya Rue at Anywhere and saying, hey, who are the best producers in the brands? Where are they? Who are they? And so we just started this whole recruiting process, flying out to El Paso and flying to other parts of the world, of the country, and we just start recruiting. And this is incredible talent that we have developed over the years, right? But I'll share this here. These are our shareholders, right? So let me just share with you guys a little bit of the organization. In the past, we have done incredible things over the last 25 years. And right now, we've been in a housing recession for the last 2.5 years, and our organization is growing more and more. Our events are bigger, our conferences are bigger, and that shows the value in what we're doing, not only in a national level, but a local level. But if I were talking to our shareholders here, and I say, where's NAHREP going with this, and what are we doing? My thoughts are this, is that we're an incubation system to developing talent, and this starts at the local level. And the local level, you see these, folks join the board, and then one day they become president, they move up to national, and sometimes they move into local politics, but we're developing talent over time. But my thoughts here moving forward in the future is that we need to see a lot more millionaires in our organization. We need, this is my belief here to our shareholders, is that we need to elevate the game. We need to produce more. We need to have bigger and better players. We have the biggest players within the organization, but we got to create more. And the way that we create more is by showing you what the possibilities are. I'll tell you, I'm a little tired. I mean, I think we should have 50 or 100 agents here that do $3, $4, $5 million, $8 million a year. I have a lot of friends as agents that make $5 to $10 million a year, but they're not Latinos. And I say, why not? What the hell's wrong with our system? What are we doing? And if NAHREP is the best of the best, but we have so much work to do moving forward. Developing the best products, the best conventions, wealth management, and the list goes on. So I think that our folks that are here and part of our organization, man, if you're doing $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year, why aren't you doing $600,000, $800,000, $1 million? If you're making $1 million a year, why aren't you doing a lot more? If you are a broker, like it saddens me that we don't have enough strong Latino brokers in the country, stronger. Like, sure, we got brokers that are 20 or 30 agents, but why don't we have a room full of players that are operating at 500 or 1,000 plus agents? Why not, right? I think of Nora Geary. Nora, once you pass your presidency, which is in March, we're going to have a sit down because you should be earning $5 million, not $2 million. And we need to step our game up. Yeah. And that is for our mortgage brokers, our mortgage bankers. And by the way, NAHREP has cultivated some incredible leadership. Stop looking at that.
So that's for our attendees. Maria, how can the partners maximize the next 4 days. And then we're going to close it off with Jason.
Maria, actually, tell us, we've done a lot of stuff to grow, but we're also very conscious internally, right? Tell us a little bit about kind of the efficiencies that we've implemented as an organization, and I think that a lot of the businesses here can also do themselves.
Yes, of course. So we tried our best to be efficient, but as you see, we have a lot of visionaries up here. So there's always a lot of visions floating around and trying to figure out the best way to accomplish it. And I think we've done a great job with being able to be flexible. Our team is flexible. They're always willing to say, okay, let's get in the room, let's strategize, and that goes from our CRMs up to the executive team. Everybody takes the time to think outside of the box and really deliver the best to the NAHREP network. We brought in our nearshore team just about 2 years ago, and we have 20 members now that are in Latin America, and they've been able to support us in scaling the organization and launching these new initiatives that we mentioned, like NHCA, Avance, growing our chapter network, and providing the support to all of you. So just being able to continue to engage and connect to connect with everyone and get the feedback and say, okay, what do we need to do? What does everybody want? What are we looking for? And then what are the visions? Think outside the box here and let's get it done.
Excellent. So, Madam President, I'm going to leave the last word to you. I think as you look back at the year, what do you think you're going to be most proud of and you want to make sure that everybody here knows about?
Familia, let me tell you that what I'm most proud of is that, this year it's clear to us that we are being seen. NAHREP is the leader in the real estate industry. So I am extremely proud of all the work that everyone's doing. And the vision from, comes from the top, Gary, but of course all of these wonderful leaders take us home really to deliver. And that is that you are seen. What we do makes a difference. But I love always what Juan does because he immediately, I'm going to say it, he immediately triggers you into well, yeah, he's right. We have to step it up. And so today you guys heard me say, this is our moment. For Latinos, we've been saying that for a very long time, but I truly believe that for our organization, that this is our moment and we have to absolutely own it. So if I'm proud of anything is that I do have the partnership and the support from a great network so that our voices are heard in a time when it matters most to our home buyers, our Latino home buyers. So that's it. Gracias.
All right. Give everybody a hand clap. So make sure to network in the community, pour into each other, hold each other accountable, and enjoy a very jam-packed NAHREP at Latitude. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.